So, hey, good morning, folks. Welcome to test execution and test management class. For this class, first thing we're going to do is go over the homework demo. I'll talk about what test environment is. Various test management tools will be discussed to you. We'll also go over how to create repository of test cases. What is test run? How to create a test run and execute the test cases. We're going to look at how the test report looks like after you execute it. These are going to be all real time. And overall, how to manage your test cases and what CI/CD is. So before we get started, let's go back to what we learned last time. Our homework was that we go into TeXtFile site and write Gherkin test cases. So I assigned you one, encourage you to write as many as possible. I believe some of you have done it, others are still working on it. It's okay, you can share and I can fill in the gaps. The whole point of this demo is that I want to see how you formulate it, and hopefully I may be able to give you some input on what you did and how to make it better, and hopefully you'll learn something from it. So who's the first volunteer?
I can go first. I have it on my computer right now.
Okay, awesome. Making you the presenter, except when you're ready.
Got it.
So the way you want to present this to the team is go into the website first and show exactly which feature are you trying to write the Gherkin test case for, and then come back to your test case and explain it. If there is any planning there involved, you can talk about it. You can talk about some brainstorming if you thought that, okay, I thought I wanted to test it this way, and that's why I approached the test case this way. So you can talk about it like that.
Okay. So we were doing exploratory testing, and I did the products and services was my feature that I was exploratory testing on.
Mm-hmm.
And the specific thing that I was doing, the scenario was add a new product on the products and services page. So features, products, and services.
Can you give Tony, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you give a rundown of the feature first? So go ahead and minimize the Gherkin test case.
Okay.
Demo the manual test to the user first, and describe how this feature works, and then go into the test case and show how you're going to test it.
Okay. All right. Got it. All right. So you're going to go. Hold on. Let me go to the beginning.
No, you don't have to go that far back because people know how to log in anyway.
Okay. Just checking. Okay.
Yeah, just log forward. What's the feature deep inside? Yeah,
got it. So
yeah, and you can go to the screen now.
Okay. All right. You're gonna go to dashboard once you log in. Then exploratory testing. I hit the products and services tab, and then I go to products, and I'm going to see that this page loads, and then I'm going to go to. Hold on 1 second. Minimize this. So then we're going to go to add products button right up here on the top. And then once I hit this add products button, it should prompt me to this add products page where I can put in certain requirement specifications such as name, sales price, item number, description, etc. So once I put in something arbitrary, such as we can do new product, if I can spell.
No worries.
Just new product 1. So then we're going to submit this, and it should prompt with a message up top that says item added successfully. that means that it went through and it successfully added the product.
Mhm.
So to check this, we're going to go back to the products, and into the search bar, we're going to search up the product that we just created. So new product 1, and we're going to hit the search button.
Mhm.
And when we hit the search button on the product we just created should appear, meaning that yes, it did appear,
Mhm.
and everything that we did was successful. So it's a positive test case that everything's working, and
Very nice.
we're good to go.
All right, good feature.
All right, so my Gherkin test case was obviously feature, product, services, given, same given everyone has, the username and password. So my scenario was adding a new product. So when credentials are input on landing page, then user should be prompted to the dashboard. So I put a then statement after the when right there because you were saying last time it's important to make sure that we have a then statement there because you have to first get to that page because you keep going too far without a then statement. Certain things are necessary, such as like you getting into the dashboard in the first place.
Mhm.
So I created that. So you should be in the dashboard. So then user should be prompted to the dashboard.
Mhm.
Okay. When your user selects product and services tab, then list products page should appear.
Okay.
When user, sorry, yeah, you're good.
No, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So then list products page should appear. When user navigates to add products button and fills out accurate fields of description and hits the submit button on the bottom of the page, then item added successfully message should appear on top of the page. When user navigates to products list tab and searches new product created in search field, then new product created should appear on the list. So that was my first test case. You want to go over the second one as well? Second one's a little bit more simple.
Sure. The first one is excellent, by the way. One thing I would bring down is that given has to come after the scenario, and
Okay.
that's how the automation is set up. So if you pull the given out ahead, then it will fail. It's not going to work with the gherkin and the cucumber setup that you're going to learn later. So
Got it. So
just copy that, bring it down right after the scenario.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, because me and Haley didn't know, and I thought it was this way. She thought it was the other way, and I guess she was right.
And we can, fix it right now. So you can do Control X for crossing off, which is going to also copy it for you. So highlight the whole line and press
So
S.
Control
X. Yes. Now, just go into that, create a line. Control V as a Victor.
Got it.
And you can take that extra line off. All right. Now let me see. Given username, when credentials are inputted on landing page, landing page is the dashboard page. That would be login page.
Login page, got it.
After logging in, you land on the dashboard page, or sometimes that dashboard page is the same thing as the landing page.
Okay, all right. So I was confusing terminology there, but thank you. I got that.
Sure. So given username and password, when user inputs credentials, in the login page, right, then user should be prompted to dashboard page. Correct. And I like the way you have it in you try to paraphrase what I did, because it's not always about which is a correct sentence or way to put it. It's all about what does it mean. So when you user should be prompted to the dashboard page, the same thing as the dashboard page should display. In automation world, you are going to validate the same thing. You're going to check to make sure whether the dashboard shows up or not. Same thing you would have done in manual. Okay. So everything else there's nothing that I want to change on that, so it's perfect. Okay.
Okay.
And next one.
All right. So next one. So same thing. I
Hold on a second. I'm sorry. The class. Do you all have any questions for him?
No.
Okay. Good. Moving forward.
Okay. So for the next one, obviously I need to move given down to below the scenario again, but let's just pretend like I did, and
Yeah.
I'll go through that one. But yeah, I want to go back and start from the actual website. So we go to the landing page or dashboard, whatever you want to call it, once we log in the correct credentials. So we're going to come to the top right corner to the Welcome Tech File Center, where there'll be a drop-down menu where you can either edit profile, change your password, or log out. So my feature that I was going to test was a logout feature, just to make sure that it accurately logs out of your profile if you want to log out. Simple feature, but it's important, so you save your account. So if I hit the logout button, I should be prompted to the login page again. And it should be filled out in blue if you had this previously saved on your whatever browser you're using, so you can log back in or not. So simple feature, but tested it. So feature is a profile, and given obviously needs to be under scenario. I'm gonna actually fix that right now. You said Control X
and then Control V.
Then Control V. Okay, so scenario is log out of the account. So I'm going to be on the profile tab on the top right. So when credentials are input on landing page, or hold on, there should be login page, then dashboard should appear. When user navigates to Welcome Tech Files Tester dropdown on the top right corner of the page, and navigates a logout button, then user should be logged out of their account and should be on login page. I didn't know if I need to do any more on that. It kind of seemed like a pretty short, simple one to me. I would kind of test something out of the box, but just not on that, that little left bar that we had on the website.
You don't have to do anything else. That's it. And
okay.
And that's a pretty good test case. And that test case is automated in many companies. So yes, both of these that you wrote should be tested and should be automated, and it's completely automatable. So
okay,
great job. One thing on a spelling wise, for a manual tester, it's totally okay. But when you're gonna go into automation, just to keep a note on those scenario given when then, they have to start with a capital letter. So the N has to be a capital letter, otherwise Cucumber is gonna throw you an error.
Okay, good. That's what I figured, but I didn't know for sure. So I was gonna ask you today. So, but okay.
Yeah.
I got my question answered. Thank you.
All right. Good job, Tony. Who is gonna be next?
Okay, next. Or
I'll do.
Okay. Making you the presenter. It's gonna prompt you to share your screen. You may have to click on the screen to select and then click share.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, we can see you.
You see me? Okay. So I'm going to validate the bank and cash tab. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Loud and clear.
Okay. So this is something like if someone wants to create a new account. So when I'm going to click it, it's showing me the account title, description, and initial balances. So where is that? Working is look like this. I tried my best. So put like this. This feature is add new contact.
Desmond, can you manually test it for us and show how it's done?
Okay, manually, if I put like ABC123, the account title, and I just put 1000, and submit it. So it's gonna take me to a new account successfully, like created, something like that. But because I already created this account, so that's why it's showing me account already exists. So if I put,
That could be a good test as well, like a negative testing, where
yes,
you want to check, make sure that duplicates are always rejected. So that could be another test case as well. Go ahead.
and if I put the like as a new ABC 321 and 1000 initial balance and submit it, then it's gonna give me an account created successfully. Then the second tab is list account. But the main thing is it's not showing me that much info over here, so that's why I'm not able to do anything else.
Makes sense.
And same thing, the account balances. It's not showing me that much info over here.
That could be a bug.
Yeah. So whatever I got, so on the basis of that, I created my Gherkin over here, which is my feature was add a new contact, and scenario is add new contact, and our goal is to create a new contact. So given a valid user account, so when I go to user navigates to bank and cash and new account, it will take me to the add new account page.
Right. So you're validating the new account page. That's good. Very good.
And when the users fill in add new contact in contact form, like when whatever is a necessary thing that we need to fill in, if after that if we and click on submit button, then account created successfully display.
That's right. Very good.
Then the next tag is list account. So that's why I write down when user navigates to blank cache, the module and the list account page, then it should be display the account page. I mean, manage account page, which is this one. And on that page, I didn't see any other info, so that's why I didn't create anything else.
Can you go back to that list account? So I want to see if it's still like a bug. Yeah. There's no way to search anything either.
Nothing.
What about the very top search box? Yeah.
Search
That work?
customer. I don't know. Whenever
Can you click on it?
I'm going to click, it is not working.
Okay. Then there's a bug on that page, so the page is not working. But let's go back to your Gherkin. And I want to say that even if you didn't go to the list accounts and at the moment not able to validate it there, but you have validated that account created successfully message should display. So you're checking that for that particular page already. That actually completes the test case. And if you were to go to the list account, that would have been an extra layer of validation. So even though you're not capable right now because the page is under construction, without that, you still have a very good test case.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, and thanks for demoing. So who's next? Next volunteer.
Haley said she can go next.
All right, Haley, making you the presenter, except when you're ready.
Okay, can you see?
Yep.
Okay, what I'm trying to find my thing real fast because the thing is blocking. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
By the way,
So-
guys, if you're not presenting, go ahead and copy paste your Gherkin test case into the chat window that we have in the meeting. Don't delete it. Save those work that you have. We're going to be using these to create test repositories going forward. You're going to be writing more test cases. And as a matter of fact, I would like you to copy each other's from the chat box and store it for yours so that you can take their work and put it into the test repository that we're going to be creating. We're going to create test repository with all of our test cases, and we're going to run these. Your next homework is going to be on that, so you're going to need that. Let me know if you need any assistance on how to copy paste your test case into the chat window for this GoToMeeting platform. Haley, go ahead.
Okay. So what I picked was adding a new deposit. So you're on the dashboard, you go to transactions, new deposit, and you should be able to type the amount and choose which account it goes into. So that was a feature that I picked. So I wrote features, transactions, scenario, add a new deposit, given information. When user inputs credentials into login page, then user should be prompted to dashboard page. When user selects transaction tab and user selects new deposit module, and types dollar amount into bar and uses drop bar to select which account, then new deposit should be transferred. When user navigates to view trends tab, then user should see deposit they just created under correct date. Oh, sorry, that was an accident. This at the bottom. But
That's pretty good. Notice that, folks, that even though the feature isn't working at the moment, it didn't stop her to create a test case. As detailed, she doesn't know what to see in there. I don't know, there's going to be 2 fields or 3 fields, or maybe 2 mandatory fields and 3 non-mandatory fields. That shouldn't block us from writing a test case and getting ready. It's kind of like, a house is going to be built. What you're doing is you go to Home Depot and you get your 2x4s and bricks and mortars just ready on the site and just ready to build it whenever the construction guys just show up. So what she just did is brought in all those things, and she sort of vaguely wrote it. She knows what's coming, and if any modification needed for her test case, she can do that when the page is built. But if you do this for your company, you are basically ahead, and that will get you farther with the company. And I think this is a very good approach. Any questions for her, folks?
No.
All right. Thank you, Haley, for presenting. Who's next?
Yeah, I think I can go.
All right,
now.
Shobuz, making you the presenter, except when you're ready.
Okay, I did test the invoice under sales. So we put the customer informations and then save invoice. That will create the invoices. So I do it like this, add new customer under case, under create new invoice, scenario 1.
Sure, Shobos, would you mind going and creating one brand new for us so we can kind of see the steps? Because there are
Okay.
some fields that are required, there are some not. So the whole class can also understand which ones are required. And
Oh, okay. Then I can do the, which one? Report, account statement. Uh, You want me to create a new Gherkin's statement?
no, I mean, the Gherkin that you wrote for, can you demo us manually, like a manual test for us?
Okay. So this is the scenario.
How about the create new invoice? I think I want to see that one.
The create new invoice under sales.
Yeah.
So this is this one. New invoice. So when you select customer and then with the save invoice, it's required. So let me see, I did it. So when the user click new invoice, then add invoice page should display, which is this one, new invoice. Then the add invoice page should display.
Yeah, guys, I like this because look, we're now looking at it from a different perspective. He has the test case, and let's say we don't know how the feature works, but we can read the test case and figure out how it works. So we're actually executing manually that test case. So go ahead, Shobus, good job.
Okay, then the add invoice page should then when the user fill up create new invoice page, which is this one, create new invoice page when to fill it up, and click add products or service, add product or service, which is add product or service.
Yeah.
And then product and service page should open. Then let's select customer, add product or service, then product service page will open. When the user select product and service and click select, then we select this one. Then create new invoice page should display the product. Select. Then the create new invoice should display the product here, which is the item A. When the user select the save button, then the invoice page should display. Save button, saving. The invoice page should display. I put the screenshot over here to make sure that it works like that way. So that's pretty much.
That's very nice. I like the picture that you added, a screenshot. Don't navigate away from that page, though. I want to point out something. These images also help your teammates to understand what you need to test and which page you need to be. Often the writings can be cumbersome. So it's a very good strategy, and we always use that too. So can you go back to that sales tech files?
Yeah.
Yes, let's take a look at this one. Now, your last statement says that invoice page should display. So that kind of says that you are validating, make sure that after you created an invoice, it took you to the invoice page. Is there something else on this page that you can validate farther, deeper?
We can do the we can check the invoices number.
Don't navigate away though. What could go wrong? Think what could go wrong on this page someday,
Uh,
or a possibility. And anybody want to shout out
The amount of the money?
the amount of money could go wrong? Correct. What else? Meaning you entered item AA on the other page. When you entered it was 540, and then when you create the amount, your sales tax probably added wrong and you could get something else. What else could go
Yeah.
wrong? Shout out, guys.
I mean, anything. The price, like you're saying, the subtotal, the quantity could be wrong.
Right.
The emailed invoice too could be wrong. Anything.
Anything that has text could be incorrect.
Yeah, anything that has text could be incorrect. So it's got to see the consistency. This is the previous page.
Or it could say
to-
paid when it's really not.
Yeah,
or
Absolutely.
it could be the pull out the wrong user.
Correct.
yeah. If we're wrong, exactly. Yeah, it could be a whole lot of things.
That's right. You all are correct. You have to validate everything here. But you do want to pick and choose in some ways. For example, you know that invoice to Muhammad Rahman, you don't want this invoice to go to somebody else. And it could, potentially could. So you don't need to validate his address and stuff. But if you can just validate that, make sure that his name, the person that you added the invoice to, does that person's name appear? If so, you can kind of sort of assume that it didn't end up going in someone else's account. Email,
Right.
phone number, not so needed. If you want to go that far and if you have the time, do it. Otherwise, no worries. Amount, absolutely. You need to check to make sure that it's posting the right amount. Because what if this page shows up in some ways? Now, sometimes you may also need to validate that invoice number, the 1136. That also depends. When you created the invoice on the previous page, if that showed you 1136, then when you come to this page, you need to make sure that they match up. But if the previous window, the success message didn't indicate, then there's nothing you can do. If the invoice number only showed up on this page, and that's the first time you saw the invoice number, there is nothing you can do. But again, you can take that invoice and probably search it in some other page. I don't know if this site is going to give you that capability, but always know this, that that's a reference number. And with that reference number, you should be able to go into any software and be able to look up this invoice again, even after you close out. Shobuz, have you seen any feature like that on this website?
Uh,
How about that
The-
invoices tab?
Yeah,
And we can check for 1136.
yeah, this one.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So your extra step of validation could be that when user goes to invoices page and go click there and searches for, that search button doesn't work. Oh, does it? 1136.
Yes.
Not really. It went to contacts, but it's okay. Go back. Hit the back button.
Yeah, it's got to work with the username, customer name,
You can go back to the invoice.
invoice.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so
Right. What you could do is here, I want you to press Control F and type in 1136.
Yeah.
See how it got highlighted there?
yeah,
Okay, so when user goes to invoices page and searches for, and again, you don't have to have a search box. You can search with Control F.
Oh, that we
Search-
can add that function too, right?
Yes, and searches
Oh,
for 1136, invoice number 1136, then
yeah.
invoice number 1136 should display on the invoices page. All right. And here's
Yeah.
another thing you can do. If you go back to that invoices page, when user clicks on or when user views the invoice 1136, how are you going to do that?
He clicked.
Either you want to click there or you can click on that view button on the right.
View button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess
Yeah.
what you're doing? You are actually, by interacting with that button, you are actually validating that button as well. You are testing that button. Make sense?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, click on that button. So when user views the invoice number 1136, who can tell me what will be the then statement?
Then the customer information invoice to is
Should appear.
should appear and
Correct invoice location. Yeah, what he was saying.
Absolutely.
right.
Yes. So you would say then invoice with the proper
Oh.
customer name should display,
Display. Right.
and invoice number should match. And you can keep on going, and you can say and
And item number.
You can validate as much as you really want to validate.
Yeah.
yes, and there is no limit to how much. It's all
Yeah.
about time. There's a minimum of one validation. You have to do at least one. And in some cases, you may do a couple more. That all depends on you as a tester. Understand?
Got
Yeah.
it.
Any questions?
Any questions?
No.
All right, thank you, Shobuz. This was a complicated one, actually. So that was a monumental task. I saw that you have another one, but in the short of time, you can just go ahead and paste it out into the chat window so all of us can share that. Again, appreciate it. Loretta, did you want to share?
I already shared it through the message
Yeah,
over there.
Okay. Did you want to go over it?
I don't think so. They need it.
Well, it's not about whether they need it, but it's that communication and
Yeah, I can do it.
it's a practice communication because it's all about the interview that you're going to go into, and you have to pass the interview. They're not looking for your certification or how much education you have. It's how much can you explain that you know. So this would be a
Okay.
practice, making you the presenter, except when you're ready.
Okay. So I have to
So click on the screen first and then click share. Yes, we can see it.
okay, it's really messed my windows. So I have to cut it off some, am I right?
No, you're fine. You just go click on that dashboard tab. We can see your screen.
Dashboard.
That where it says dashboard, the third tab from the left. That top. Yeah, to the right. That window. You know how to display the window?
Yes, but I have a lot of reading over here in option, remote control.
That's it. Yeah, don't cross
Should
it
I
off.
click?
That's the one we want. Don't cross that. Just click on that tab. Click on it.
Everyone? Oh no, what is that?
Where it says tech files, just click on that. You're hovering over it. Click on it.
This is it?
Yeah, click on it.
I don't see a tech files. Do you see it?
Can you toggle to that?
Yeah, I think I think you need to scroll it down a little bit, the browser.
Oh, you want me
Drag
to
it.
this one you're
Uh,
saying? No,
Are
I
you
don't.
all able to see her screen fine?
Let me.
Yes.
Yeah, but thing is that when you share, sometimes the browser goes a little bit up. So I think that's a she's not.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yes, yes. That's why I don't see anything. Okay,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can
That makes
now.
sense.
Yeah, it's a lot of things on the board. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shobhus,
whenever you-
you're right, because that meeting window drop down
Yeah.
link thing
Right.
goes right over your.
Yeah, because I see like the option, remote control, drawing tools, kind of like that. So in my okay.
Yeah.
So I did which one?
Yeah, it's annoying. I mean, sometimes I'm like,
I know.
I want to click on a tab and I can't.
So I did the add list contact. So I went to the CRM. So add list contact. So I did listed the PP1, the name. Sorry. So I have to go to all through, or I can read my test case.
No, just do the same way that everybody else presented. First, go to the feature, explain what the feature is supposed to do, and then give us a demo, a
Okay.
manual test on how did you manually test it, and then come back to your gherkin and explain how you wrote the gherkin.
Okay. So I went to the CRM first, and I wanted to do the list contacts. Then when I click that list contact, then I search the name with the JJ or PP. Then after that, I put it search button, and it should appear. So this is the case I was working on.
But you did not explain how did you add it. This is the validation part.
Oh, how did I add it? The name?
Yes, how did you add this contact?
There's a list contact here. I went. I don't know. I wrote like
on you.
I
Yeah, go ahead.
I did like yes. So scenario I was added like an add list contact given a valid user login when user clicks on CRM button and user click on list contacts. Then list contacts should display. So it did display. When when enters an exiting name into the search field and clicks on the search button, then the search user should display. This is what I did.
Okay, I think what she's doing, folks, is she is this is not add list contact.
No, I said list contacts.
Yeah, you are validating the search feature,
Yes.
right? You are
Yeah.
actually not adding any contact, but you're just
No, I didn't.
validating, making sure that that search feature works properly or not.
Yes, that's why I put the new name. Does it work or not? Like kind of like that, because I didn't take their name. You know, they have a lot of names on the text files. So I
Okay.
make sure does it work for me or not.
Okay,
Kinda like
so
that.
let's make a little bit of a modification here because the scenario, if you say add list contact, that's going to be a bit confusing with what it's actually testing. So go ahead and delete the scenario where it says add list contact and retype. I'll tell you
Just
what,
list contact.
yeah, I'll tell you what to type, and the class is learning from this as well. So delete that list contact completely.
Completely.
Yeah, hit the delete button or hit the back button from there. Okay, just that much. All right. Now, users should be able to search existing contact.
User should
Be
be
able to search
search
existing
6
contact or contacts.
contact.
Contacts. T.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Now let's read this and make sure that everything is fine. Given a valid user logged in, when user clicks on CRM button and user clicks on list contacts, then list contacts page should display. When user add page, when user enters an existing name. So after
I should put,
when user,
should I, okay, this contact page, then I should put user.
no, you're fine.
Okay.
The next statement, when user enters an existing name into the search field, and clicks on the search button. Can you bring your window down a little bit so that we can see the search button? This notepad window. Yeah, just click on the top bar of the notepad window.
Sorry, I have a lot of windows open. Yes, what I have to do?
Okay.
Does it work?
And clicks on search button, then the searched user should display. That totally makes sense. So this is the validation or a test for the search feature window. And does it break sometimes? Absolutely. I've seen it break. I've seen it where you're going to type in something and you're going to hit the search button. Nothing happens because the button shows, but behind that button, there are some code that needs to go into the server, and then server needs to talk to the database and pull and search the database for a certain customer, and it doesn't do that, or there's a disconnect between that, and then it's gonna break and you're gonna catch a wonderful bug. So any questions for her, folks?
No.
All right, thank you, Loretta.
You're welcome.
Let me take back this presentation. And guys, the whole point of the homework is not just, everybody is learning from it, or you are learning from it, and it's also not about me putting you on the spot. uh, it's a very good learning experience, and the fact that you are demoing me, when you're going to work for a company, you're going to have to demo a lot of things. This is a very professional job. You're going to have to train a lot of people. You're going to have to interact with a lot of executives, and you have to be very fluid about it and professional about it. So with some of these presentation tools, uh, even though you're not a presenter, you're a student, but you need to learn how to do that and be fluid about it. So when you get that job, it shows that you have that many years
Come here.
smoothness. Okay. Do you all want to take 5 minutes break before we start, or are you do you want to just continue?
You can take a break. That's fine.
All right, let's do a 5 minutes break and come back.
Okay.
Hey, folks, you all back?
Yeah, we're back.
Yes.
All right, awesome. Let's get started. Let me change this right here. All right, can you all see the screen okay?
Yeah.
All right. So let's move forward, but before we do that, I would like to review what we learned from last week. First question, what are the steps of SDLC? Let's say, Shobuz, can you give me the first step that I need to do as a tester? What's in my life cycle, software testing life cycle? What is the first step?
Strategy, the test strategy, like
Correct.
how we can do the test.
Yes. So what are you doing in test strategy phase?
We need to see how we can automate the testing and when we can do the testing and what are the resources for those we can do for that testing.
Correct. Can somebody tell me what does the resources mean? What could be resources for test strategy? It could be data. What could be the data that you may need?
The websites or the user ID passwords.
Absolutely correct. And also, if you need to create an account, whose name are you going to use it with? If you have to create an invoice, do we have to use a certain product in there? Those are all data that you may or may not need. And those are what you're going to be analyzing in the test strategy step. Haley, what will be the next step?
Test development.
Correct. And what are you doing in this test development, which you did by writing the Gherkin? So what is that?
The test steps, like writing out what you have to, like a clear manner of like the instructions of what you're wanting to test.
Correct. What type of initial testing that you are doing as you're writing this test steps?
Exploratory.
Correct. Exploratory testing. Loretta, what could be the next step?
I'm kind of confused.
No worries. We all forget, but we're gonna teach each other back and forth and over spiraling up. She also missed a few sessions, so it's pretty difficult while kids are feeding lunch, breakfast, and all that, managing the kids and doing the class. Anybody want to chime in?
Is it a test execution?
Test execution, meaning you have developed the test case, which you did from last week. Today, you're going to see how we're going to execute it, meaning we're actually going to test it. All right? And Desmond, what could be the next step after test execution? We have executed the test cases. What could come?
Test closer.
Yes, test closure is one. I don't think I've listed it on here. What I have it is defect management. And you are also correct. So on SDLC steps, test execution, test closer, if you say that, that's also fine. Also, you can go this route saying you add one extra, something called defect management, meaning if you have a bug, what are you going to do with that? Obviously, you're not going to release the feature and you have to test the bug and create a new ticket for that bug, have the developer work on it. When the developer is done, it's going to come back to you you validate that feature based on the fix was made. If it's passing, you move it forward. All right. Show
Yep.
what's the last step after that? What's defect management?
I think it's delivery.
Correct. Delivery, and explain what that is.
So it's like
Deployment.
no, it's that user accepting test user accepted testing. What is UAT? I guess.
Correct.
And then the installations. So it's like the delivery is like the customer acceptance, how the customer will face, and the final points, I guess.
Absolutely. These are just little hint words in there. Memorizing them wouldn't hurt. If you put it in a flashcard, guys, I don't know if you've been thinking about it, but these PowerPoints, you can also print it out, or you can watch these PowerPoints and write it in a small font in a white piece of paper, and create like little boxes for you. Maybe have it on that same piece of paper, hold it, put it in your pocket, take it to your work, and just kind of memorize things. And about each of these words that are there, you can come up with the story. Because think about it, that UAT gives me the hint. I can talk about a paragraph, create a paragraph on that UAT. Okay, how? Here's how. If somebody asks me, so can you describe what happens in the test delivery phase? Well, test delivery phase is when you have tested the feature, okay, and the feature passed, and there's no bugs in the feature, and now it's ready to deploy. And somebody said deploy. That's correct. Either you can say the word deploy or release. That now we release the product to the production environment. Now, when it goes to the production environment, there could be a level of testing called user acceptance testing, where these are selected users. Now, these users could be a alpha testing user, which is you kind of see how I'm kind of pulling what I taught you before. You have
Yeah.
to tie those things together, guys. All right. So it could be alpha testing, where the company executives that we are building the software for is going to test and make sure that it meets the requirement that they gave us initially. If not, then they might come back to us and say, hey, we like everything else, but we don't like this particular feature. Can you update it this way? And then the whole cycle turns back on again, and we have to work on that in the same phases. Or it could be beta testers, where we release it out to the end user, and the end user is going to start using it without not even knowing that they are the end user, that only they can see the feature. But as they interact with the feature, if there are some issues, we will get some feedback from them that there are some issues, and we're going to fix that. Now, all of that, when UAT is done, there could be some installation, configuration, and compatibility testing going on. But other than that, it's been deployed now and delivered to all the customers, and now they're using it. And at this point, what we may do is periodically we would still execute our test cases to make sure that the feature continues to work in the future, even when we're adding new feature out there, that new features are not interacting with the existing feature that we just launched. And guys, I can continue this longer. If the interviewer wants me to, I can continue. But what I'm doing is I'm looking at the interviewer's eye and body language. If I see that the interviewer is looking away, that tells me that he's getting bored, and I need to brief it out and get it over with. If I see hands jittery, If I see the interviewer is getting a bit nervous or anxious to move on, yeah, go ahead and finish up. But if you see they're like giving you the eye contact and nodding their head, that means like you got them, and you go ahead and continue talking and just give them the eye contact back. Um, and that's a very good sign. So if you see that, just do that. This was a review of what we did uh, last class. Moving forward, what is, just shout out, what tool is used to manage the software development life cycle workflow?
Jira.
Jira, correct. And briefly, what Jira is it is a software designed to help teams of all types manage work. That means it's not limited to only software teams. People in finance, people in collections, people in sales, anybody can use Jira to manage their small bits and pieces of work. Managers can assign the work to employees and track the level of work, and create a timeline, come back with the report, analyze their performance, and overall improve the company. So this is what the entire company uses. Initially, it was designed as a bug or issue tracker. So for software, it was designed for that. But Jira realized that this software can be applied in many sectors and many companies. So they have expanded so much that right now they are the industry leader, and pretty much 90% of companies use this. So when you go working for somebody, I guarantee you 90% of the time you're going to see this software and you're going to be part of this where your work is going to be on it as well. It is a central hub for coding, collaboration, and release stages. The company software team that you're going to be involved in, and it starts from all the way to requirements gathering, meaning what the company needs to know to build the software, um, um, all the way to test case management. It is capable of managing your test cases too. You can store them, you can create a bug report on it, and so forth. But you're also going to see another tool that we're going to be using for test case management. Overall, it is a tool for issue tracking, customizable workflows, estimation, those story points that we talked about. You can do a progress report. I showed you graph. We talked about burn down chart, how that looks like. We talked about Scrum board. We also talked about the Kanban board, project level permissions, project backlogs we talked about. I've also hinted you that whenever this work is progressing from one level to the other, when you change the status of the ticket from to do to, let's say, in progress, everybody gets an email. Whoever is involved in that ticket will automatically get a notification email saying that, hey, I just moved a ticket. Or if you comment on that ticket saying that, hey, uh, uh, this is the feature, but I thought that you might need this information handy to develop that feature. If you just commented on it, that developer is going to get an email. You're going to get an email because you commented on it. And anybody else connected to that ticket is going to get an email. This is a video. When you have time, watch this video and get used to this Jira. You are going to say, this is the software that you use. I know that you don't know how to use it right now. You don't have to. Also, I didn't know how to use it. In fact, the training that I got from the training center, they never even went this far to explain what this thing is. And we were all our students were very confused about Jira and other tools, and they were not able to establish the difference between them. And I bulldoze my interviews. I mean, when they asked me um, questions about tools, and I was thinking Jira does it all, and I was making huge mistake there. and interviewers were confused, but I still got the job. Sometimes interviewers, I mean, they don't know that I don't know, and I can explain things, and even if I explain things wrong, they think that maybe I just didn't know how to explain it, but maybe I know the material. So there's always a little bit of a leeway there, just to tell you that you can't go wrong. So you'll still be okay with whatever you explain. Now that we have our test cases, the questions you should be asking is, where should I write the test cases for the company? I can't just put it on a notepad. Then you should be asking that, how do I keep adding and storing those test cases? Is there a way to organize those test cases? Because I got 1 or 2 on that page, is fine. But what if I have 100 test cases? Am I going to be scrolling up and down? And what if I can't find it? Is there a numbering system that I should use? Is there a folder I should use? These are the type of questions you should be asking. How can I select the right test cases to execute? When you want to do the regression, test regression or regression testing, who can tell me what is regression testing? Very briefly, 1 sentence.
It's going back and testing all the previous features up until that point and making sure everything.
Excellent. Great. So when you're going to be testing all of those existing features, all the test cases that you have already developed, that's a regression testing. Sometimes you don't need to do the whole thing, because the developer may say that, hey, my code is very small, it only touches this particular pages, so you can only test those pages, and my code doesn't go anywhere else. And for the sake of time, you may just want to select the right test cases. Okay, not all of them, but right ones. How do you do that? We're going to show you today. What can help me execute and report those test cases? Well, you can't just write pass and fail on a notepad. Some way we have to reflect it so all your teammates can find it. It has to be very fluid, and also it has to be cloud-based so that you can work from home. You don't have to physically be there and report it to people. Everybody can get it electronically. What can help me analyze the test report? How do I analyze the test report to make a decision? All of that answer is going to be on something called test management tool. Okay, and they're going to ask you, interviewer is going to ask you, what kind of test management tool do you use? And keep an ear for it. They may not be able to ask the question properly. Trust me, guys, interviewers are not perfect, and they want to hear something, but they're not even that intelligent, or maybe their communication skill is not great. So they are unable to ask the question properly. That's not their fault, guys. If it's always blame yourself. I blame myself. I'm like, if I don't understand what this person is trying to say with the words, that's my drawback. So always kind of hear what they're trying to say beneath the words, and try to understand that. And guess what, guys? If you can understand the interviewer, even though their question is not stated properly, you have become their number 1 candidate. They now love you because they can see that you can listen to their heart without even listening to the words that they're saying. You already got the job if you can get to that level, which is pretty hard, by the way, but challenge yourself to do that. But anyway, always keep an eye for test management tool, and they're going to ask you for it. And I repeat, it is not Jira. Again, it is not Jira. And what test management tool is not Jira. And that's the mistake I made. I thought that's everything. You can do everything with Jira. And we are doing all that with Jira. So the interviewer was like honing on, like, how are you doing this? How are you doing that in Jira? I mean, he was trying to get me and I could understand that I was maybe in the wrong thing. And I knew, I mean, I didn't know the whole shebang of things. And the training center that I got the training from, and they didn't even teach us how to use the test management tool. So, but you're gonna get a hands-on scoop today. Probably not hands-on, but you see it real time. Before I introduce you to test management tool, actually you already know. Can you tell me which one?
That's right.
TestRail. The TestRail software is the test management, is one of the test management tools, and we're gonna do that today. So, but you need to familiarize yourself with some words. Um, Particularly, where should I write the test cases? You're gonna hear a word called uh, test repository. Okay, what is repository? A dictionary definition of repository is a central location in which data is stored and managed. Right? So the test repository is basically a central location where test cases are stored and managed. Right? If you go into a company, you may not want to ask. First question is, where is your test management tool? Instead, you might say, where is the test repository? If you say that, that means you're asking, where are all those test cases stored? That person should answer back, oh, it's in TestRail, or we don't have one, we just have it on a piece of paper. Whatever that is, that would be the case. Questions about test repository?
No.
Then, once you have your test cases in a repository, let's say TestRail, what you have to do is select a select a list of test cases to go ahead and execute. That whole process is called a test run. All right, you're going to create a test run, meaning you take a selection of test cases and you assign to selected people. So if you have 2 people, 3 people in your company, you take 20 test cases, you assign 10 to someone, one person, 5 to another person, and 5 to another person. You assign them. These test cases to be executed for specific environment. We'll talk about the environment shortly. Execution, you already know that what it means is you actually testing the feature using the steps described in the scenario, and within a time limit, of course, is what this test run is going to involve. So the test run is going to specify that, hey, you got to finish it by this particular time. And why? In order to generate a report, and that report is going to help you make decision on whether to release the feature or no, there was a bug found and don't release the feature. Any question about test run?
No.
Okay, so you can just learn this particular sections, and I also highlighted these words. So if you can remember these words and just paraphrase the rest, if these are the buttons you need to press when they ask you about it, and you got the brownie points if you do that. All right, talked about what is a test environment when I talk about that. A test environment is a setup of software and hardware for testing teams to execute test cases. What does that mean? That means it's a lab. You are gonna have everything, the whole server and softwares, the hardwares, ready for you. It's a playground for you. You're gonna play in that. You're gonna test there. You can't break anything, but you wanna break it, because if you can break it, then you can tell the developers that that's a bug, and they can fix it. So actually, that's an environment for you to play and break. Try to break it, and come up with a better software before you push it out to production. So what does it start with? Well, the very first time when the developer writes a code and pushes it to a environment, It's called the dev environment. Dev is short for development environment. That means, what does that mean? That means, excuse me, that means it's going to look like, on your screen, it's going to look like www.dev.yahoo.com. Let me move this bar here. Looks like I can't, but do you all see this black bar here, or you don't?
Yes.
Yeah.
You see the black bar?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I need to figure out how to, oh, that goes away itself if I cursor or move it. All right. It's gone. Good. And www.dev.texfiles.com, my company uses www.dev.masergy.com. To give me that dev.masergy.com, they actually have to have servers, same thing that they have it in production environment, okay? They have to have all of those hardware tools in one building locked down, and put all the same setups that they have for customers, have it for us to play with. Does that make sense? Any
Yeah.
question about the dev environment? All right. So as the developers are writing code, everything is getting into this environment, meaning dev.yahoo.com. So when you type that in, you'll be able to see the new features that came in that the real customers will never be able to see until you release them. Okay? Now, this is a very messy environment because there's a lot of people writing code and they're pushing their code, and a lot of things are breaking. And they're not really checking to see whether it's breaking or not. They're waiting for you to say, hey, you just pushed a code here, but that broke a code here. And is there a bug? What do we do? And then this developer will continue working and you keep going back and forth and they try to fix it and so. All right. Now, when you feel like that this environment is now stable, you are able to get the developers fix their bugs and mistakes. You are not going to push that code to production yet. There is a middle ground, a safety environment called QA environment. Okay? Before you give it to the customer, you call a QA environment. Now, this environment, sometimes it's called QA.yahoo.com, or it could be, some companies call it test environment, test.texfiles.com. In my company, we call it staging environment. Name doesn't matter. What you need to understand is it's just a safety, another secondary environment, because you don't want dev stuff to go straight to production. That could be risky because everybody's adding without any stop and without any limitations and random time. QA environment is 100% controlled by you, meaning nothing comes into this environment unless you release an application from dev environment to QA environment. Okay? So what's the difference between dev environment and QA environment? Dev environment is when the developer finished his code, he's not going to ask you for your permission. He's going to push his code in. He's going to kick it out. And it's going to be in this environment whether you like it or you don't. And you have to check to make sure that his work is fine. But if his work is fine, it's up to you. Nobody's going to tell you when to. Sometimes the management might say, hey, this new feature needs to go quickly. Might push on you. But ultimately, you are the manager to move the code from dev environment to the QA environment. So this may be, dev environment may have a lot of bugs in it, but you should protect your QA environment where you only bring in code that is clean and is not going to mess up anything else. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So what happens when the code has been coming into the QA, and what happens after that? Well, if you see that you brought some code in and everything is looking great, you're going to do a lockdown. You're going to tell your team, hey guys, we're freezing the staging environment and we're not going to bring in any more code in here. Let the developers kick off a lot of codes here, but we're locked down. We're now going to do a regression, meaning we're going to test everything, even though it's looking optimistic, but let's go through all our test cases. And when we're done with our regression, sometimes it can take 4 hours, depending on how many test cases you have and how many people you have in your company. It can take between 4 hours to maybe 24 hours. Now, if you have all automated test cases, it could take about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, okay? And by the way, guys, these interviewers are going to ask you those questions, and you need to know the approximate timing of manual test cases and your regression. You cannot say you're 100% automated. We never are. If they ask you how long does it take to do your regression, you're going to say we have some test cases automated. You're going to say that about 60% test cases automated and 40% test cases we have to do it manually. Automation takes about 30 to 45 minutes, and manual test cases take about 4 hours with 3 employees that we have. Understand? All right. Once that is done, regression is done and report comes out clean, no issues, then you have this production environment and you are still in control to kick out this code into production, right? Now, generally, the DevOps engineers are going to do that. You're just going to give them a wave of your hand saying, hey guys, I'm done testing, everything looking good, go ahead and push it to production. I sign off on it. And the DevOps engineers are going to take this code and take it to the production, and the customers are going to get it. As soon as they hit the production, you're also going to have to test the production environment, meaning you're going to go to the actual Yahoo, www.yahoo.com or techfiles.com or masergy.com, my company, and I'm going to go in and check everything in there. Who can tell me what are some of the types of testing that I need to do there? Shout out, guys.
The
Dynamic testing?
Dynamic, of course, that is the overarching umbrella of the type of testing we need to do. But what are some nitty gritty detailed?
like smoke.
Correct. The 3 names that you need to mention are smoke testing, sanity testing, and what's the third one? Starts with an R. Starts with an R. Regression testing. So not just you're doing regression testing here, but you're also going to have to do regression testing here. Production regression testing, you are not going to do a lot. And can somebody take a wild guess why I can't do all the testing in production, but I can do it in QA environment?
It will impact the user, the
Exactly.
end user.
Yes, exactly. Let's say Amazon.com. In QA environment, you're actually going to go as a user and you're going to buy things. And you're going to look at whether the credit card charged properly or not. Can you do that in the production environment?
No.
No, you can't. Then you're actually literally going to charge the customer, and the customer is going to panic. So there are some tests you cannot do. But sometimes what we do is we try to create a fake customer in the production environment, all right? And this customer, we use that particular fake customer, and guys, this fake customer is going to have a real credit card, by the way. And we're going to probably buy a product for this customer with a real credit card, and money gets taken off, and we're going to also do a return, and then so that we put back that money. That means whatever the mess we make in production, we have to clean it back up. And can the automation do that? Absolutely. I'll show you how to do that as well. Any questions about test environment?
No.
Moving on. What is a test report? Test report is a document with summary of test results. That's after you have done executing the test cases. In this test report, you're going to have several status that you're going to say about what was your what's that word, experience. What was your experience with that feature that you just tested? Your status may include pass, fail, retest, not a blocker, or blocker. I'll talk about those in more details shortly. Based on which the test report is going to be your culminating piece for your decision making on whether the feature should be released or not. You need to analyze these things with your team and give it a go for, hey, okay, it's ready to go. So it's a document with the summary of test results where statuses of the test cases may include pass, fail, retest, etc. And based on this report is where QA team makes decisions on whether or not to deploy software. Then what are these statuses mean? Well, pass is pretty simple. That means the feature demonstrates all the expected conditions. And if the test cases pass, you go ahead and tell them to release. But what if it fails? Well, if it failed, that means the feature did not perform as expected. The expected conditions did not meet. And you are to decide whether this is a very important feature, then you are going to say, don't release. What could that mean? That means, let's say when you Amazon, you buy something and your credit card doesn't charge. Are you going to release that? Nope. You're going to say, that will mess up. The company will lose a lot of money. So we're not going to release this app. We got to do fixing first, then release it. But let's say you done all this testing and they wrote all the code and there's this new credit card feature which is working great. It's going to bring a lot of revenues to the company, but unfortunately, a button name is wrong. It's supposed to say charge my card. Now it says submit button. Yeah. Did your feature fail? Sure. But are you going to stop releasing that? What do you think, guys?
No.
No,
No.
you are actually going to release it. You're going to say that, hey, I found a bug, but that bug is not big enough for you to stop the whole release. So let's go ahead and release it. But on the next round, they're going to go ahead and fix that name of the button from submit button to say charge my credit card or charge my account. Understand?
Got it.
The other thing is, what if you are like, you can't even test it because the test case is written bad, or I mean, don't ever say that test case is written bad, but sometimes it is. It doesn't have the data for you to test, or they wrote the test case, they assigned it to you, but the feature hasn't been developed at all. Then you code it as blocked, meaning you were not able to test the feature at all for any kind of reasons, and obviously good reasons. Retest is you tested something, but you have a feeling that there's something wrong, you're not getting it, you don't know, but you have a feeling that maybe the feature is not working properly, maybe the message is not displaying properly. So you want your teammate to go in and retest it and confirm that it is not a failure, that it's passing fine. And the last is not a blocker, meaning let's say you found a failed test case and you thought you wanted to code it as fail, but your supervisor looks at that failed test case and he's like, this is just a button name. It should not really mess up our release. It's okay. Go ahead and code it as not a blocker, meaning the failure, the test failed, but should not stop the release. Okay. So not a blocker means the test case failed, but the failure is not big enough for it to block the release. You should be able to release, go forward, and so forth. Any questions about different types of statuses on the test cases execution?
No.
All right. Now let's take a look at how many different kinds of test tools that are out there. Guys, there are a whole lot of tools out there. So these are the top 15, but there's more. There are ones that you have to pay for. Others are free. TestRail you have to pay for. The most used one and most expensive one is IBM Rational and HP Quality Center. HP Quality Center is most purchased, okay? And they were the first ones to come out. It's also called Application Lifecycle Management, or in short, now it's called ALM. So you will see a lot of communications about this. You might hear interviewer ask you, have you ever used ALM? Then you know it's the HP Quality Center. You need to get more information on it, and I have videos to for you to watch on your own to get some info. You even if your resume says that you never worked on it, anybody with 7 years experience should have a general idea of what Quality Center is. I don't care if you know what a test lodge is, or Q-test is, or test collab is, but you do need to know everything about briefly, not how to use it, but what it does and what is there, and that you're familiar with this. This is by far probably one of the most expensive ones, and a lot of companies are still into it, but many are trying to move out of it, and they're trying to see that some of the open source, meaning the free ones online, how can they save money by using those. TestRail costs about $4,000 a year, which is not very expensive compared to Quality Center. And I'm gonna teach you TestRail how to use this. They are all the same thing. They do the same thing. Just the user interface looks a bit different. So if you go to your company, you are welcome to suggest them to move to TestRail. If the situation seems like it's calling for it. Now I have these like few minutes videos of different kinds of testing tools that are there. Watch these videos on your own, and it will not just tell you what test lodge is, but it also tells you how the test cases are executed. So very good videos. I watched it. You should watch it. There's this one for IBM Rational. So it's a cartoon and it explains you how that works. Also watch that. This is HP ALM. This guy also explains how the history of ALM comes in. This is the video you're gonna need to answer those interview questions. So watch that on your own. There's another one called PractiTest. There's one called Tarantula. I selected these videos for you that minimum, these are 3 to 5 minute videos you should watch. And it tells you everything. And one of the classes, I gave you this homework of going into TestRail and downloading TestRail and watching the video. By the way, this is a link right here. If you click on this video, this image actually, this is not even a video. If you click on it, it's going to take you to this page. This is the actual page, and this has all the training, folks. There's 10 modules here. You can watch these 10 modules and become an expert in this software, and you can go into a company and actually start training people. You can become the QA analyst manager, not an automation engineer, but QA analyst manager, or lead QA analyst, and manage this thing for your team. I am not going to go over this whole thing, but I'm going to briefly go over to set it up for you so you can start working. This would be your to-do things. Do you need to know this to get a job? Absolutely not. I didn't even know what a test management tool was. I thought it was Jira. So I had to learn everything from the day one when I got the job. So you can understand, if you do this, if you watch this video and become a very good person on TestRail, oh my God, that would be so awesome. But anyway, moving forward, next slide, I don't even have anything written on it. So I'm going to work with you on this, and this is the outline. As you know that you're my first class, so I'm still building and working, but I'm going to now demo you how all of this is done, and then we're going to be done with the class. Let me explain the homework before I demo you. So you are basically have to do the same thing that I'm going to demo you. To a certain point, you're already there. Your homework is going to be to install TestRail trial version, and there's this link that's going to take you to this page. If you haven't done it already, I think some of you did it successfully. Here's the button says try TestRail, and you go in here, you create an account. Now, I'm going to do the whole thing for you right now. So run it down and show you. So that says click on try TestRail, follow the system prompt. So I'm here, keep it as TestRail Cloud web address. You can give anything you want. I've already done something here. So let me put my son's name, Ariston. TestRail doesn't care what you put in. They will think that that is the website. And just put a fake name here, or the whole thing, put like John Doe, and email. You do need to put proper email because it's going to send you the username and password there. So I'm going to put in, let's say, yeah, let me use Stein, my Gmail here, and company name, I could say automation. Actually, if you're curious about a company name that I have for this automation testing, it's TechJobFast. TechJobFast. And there'll be a website called techjobfast.com with an orientation video in the future. And I can use 10 users. Say I'm not a robot. Agree and create. Let's see what happens. Your account will be available under this address. The web address is already taken, so somebody already took that with that John. How about I put a number 999? Submit. There. You want to give it a little time. Right now, it's waiting for you to validate from your email. So what you go is, if you have Gmail account, you go to Google, you go to this top right corner and go to Gmail, and then look for that email with a link. So Stein, welcome to TestRail. Confirm trial registration. Email address confirmed. Now they're waiting for this setup. It's going to load shortly. Can you all hear me? Are you all still there?
Yeah, we can hear you. We're watching.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, great. So I'm just waiting for you to load back up. Also keep checking your email. They're going to send you another email with the password. I've looked at that. This password here, this is the only one works. I've tried changing the password, updating, nothing works. So you want to save this email with that. And if you lose it, your 14-day trial period is over. Just open up another one. Unfortunately, you're going to lose all your work. And but that's okay. You're going to save the work. either in a notepad or Word document, all the test cases you should be saved there, and recreate another one. But once or twice you create it, you should be good. You don't need to use this anymore. So anyway, let's take a look at it here. If everything goes well, you're going to get this screen. You put in your full name, doesn't matter what you do. But with this name, they're going to create an account and you're going to be the admin. Select that box there and click submit. It's going to show you that you are in this stage here. And these are the steps that you need to follow to add things in here. So right now you are in a create project step, meaning you need to create a project under which you're going to work. You can add multiple projects. What is a project? A project is something that you want to separate your test cases to. For example, you may be working with two different websites. One could be the Tech Files. The other could be, let's say, yahoo.com. Well, in that case, you're going to have two different projects. One is going to say Tech Files, and the other is going to say Yahoo. But we're just going to do Tech Files right now, so just one. Therefore, I'm going to go to Add Project, and I'll give it a project name. Now, you don't have to do this if you start working for a company. They have already done this for you. You're just going to go in and write a test case. But what I'm showing you is if you need to become an admin and or be at a manager level, then this is what you have to do. And still, it's not that hard. So Tech Files, all right? You can just write Tech Files. That's it. That's the website. That's the project. Show the announcements on the overview page. None of this really matter. This is a default setup of how your test cases are going to be stored. Unless you have a very good reason to choose these, just leave it blank. And then go click on Add Project. Am I going too fast or is it okay?
I got it.
Okay. You can always watch the video, the recording that I'm making, and you can pause it as you do this. All right. Now I created a project. It tells me congratulations. What am I looking at? If you scroll down, you're going to see some information here and there. You can go to Return to Dashboard, and you're going to see the project that you created down here. Ignore this graph, not needed. But multiple projects you create, it's going to end up here. So if I need to create another project, I can just do Add Project on the right side. And let's say yahoo.com. You don't have to say .com. You can just say Yahoo project and just click Add Project. And that's also going to drop you down here. I can go back to the dashboard. Now you have two different projects. Obviously, we're going to go into Tech Files and add our test cases. So you click on Tech Files. Now you're going to see all these tabs open up. Okay. Out of all these tabs, first tab you need to go to, notice what it says, Add Test Case or Add Cases. If I click here, it doesn't do anything. It just shows me a screen. But what you need to do is go to Test Cases. Okay. The Test Cases tab, you go in there and you're going to see something like this. First time it shows you this because there's nothing there created. You can only do two things. One, you can create a section, or you can write a test case right away. You don't want to write a test case right away. You want to section it off. Can somebody want to take a guess? How do I want to section this off? I have test cases for all these pages and sites. What would be the best way to section these off?
By the tabs?
By the tabs, correct. If I have test cases for CRM, then I want to have CRM and these page names and then have the test cases under the page name. If my test case belongs to add contact, then I want to put it under this section. How are we going to do that? Easy. you create something called add section. What section? Well, what's the first thing I have? I got dashboard. Should the dashboard be tested?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. You have things in here, so you gotta have test cases here too. Notice these buttons are good and they work. So you have to come up with test cases to cover these buttons and what these panels are doing. By the way, these panels are called widgets. So you are gonna start with dashboard. Over here, you're gonna say dashboard. Anyway, were you all able to paste those scenarios there?
Yes.
Okay. So I say dashboard, and if you want to write a description, you can. If you write the description here, this is how it's going to show up. Here's the description. I don't write it. There. That's what's going to show up, but you got a section which is called dashboard. You want to create another section which is for CRM, transaction, sales. So yeah, if you're doing this first time, go ahead and write all of these up. So add section.
I'll be back. I'm having some issues, so
No problem.
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Yeah.
So here I'm gonna say CRM and then add section. What happened here? CRM went under the dashboard. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, but I don't want that. I want dashboard and CRM to be under the same level. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Then there's transaction and sales. So I go in here. If I click on this add section, this will go under this dashboard. If I create add section here, this will go under the CRM. So if I say transactions, notice it became a subsection of the CRM section. But the transaction and CRM and dashboard are separate sections. I don't want them to be subsections of them. Okay? I want subsection of CRM to be this guy. Add contact and list contact. So these two are going to be the subsections of CRM section. Then how do I do that? Well, here's CRM. And if I say add subsection, I would say add contact and there's that add contact showed up under the CRM. And then I need another one. So I'm going to go to CRM and click on add subsection and say list contacts and then add. And that shows up right here. All of these are under the same. Which one should not be here?
Transition.
Transactions, correct. So what do I do? How do I do this? Well, you go to this right side right here where all the folders are organized. You click on transactions, you drag it, and you go up or down until you feel like, look, are you able to see that green arrow or green triangle?
Yes.
See how that green triangle is tracing it as I'm pulling it down?
Yeah.
So I can pull this down and notice it doesn't go as far left as I want to, but if I go up here, see, it kind of gets back in the level of dashboard.
Yeah.
I can just drop it here and it's going to say move it. Yeah, move here. And guess what? Now I have the CRM out of this little subsection. Same thing I got to do with CRM too. CRM is not a subsection of dashboard. It is a separate section. So if I click on it, if I click and drag this, it will give me that green triangle. And I wanted to drop it where it's actually goes all the way to the left. and drop it here. It says move here, and now it became a separate section of its own.
Oh, got it.
And you can move around and fix as you need to. Now you have a skeleton of this organization created for you to add test cases. Okay? Any questions so far?
No.
All right. Let's go ahead and copy. And by the way, guys, you all can also copy from, I highly recommend that you do this. Copy from the chat window those test cases that are there for your record, so you can use this for homework. I'm looking at it right now, and I see logout, Tony's logout feature. So I'm going to take that scenario. I'm going to take that scenario title where it says log out of account.
Mm-hmm.
Who can tell me where would I put that test case?
Probably under dashboard, right?
Correct, because that feature lies on the dashboard. So I'm going to go in here and click on add case, meaning test case. You click on it, it's going to ask you, what do you want the title to be? What do you think the title should go? Oh, or what's the title here?
Logout feature?
Yeah, it's that scenario title that he had. I'm not going to write scenario. Well, that is the title. So you don't have to write that word. You just write what the test case title is.
Okay.
Then what you do, you click on add. And it added that for you, but it didn't add the test case yet. You can click on it to open it and expand it. So I'm going to click on it. And it gave you an expanded view of what you can do here.
Mhm.
By default, it has some setups here. All of these can be changed to the way you want to. What you need to do is go on the top right corner and click on edit every time. You go in here, edit. It gives you the way to edit the title. It tells you the section, template. These are some default features. There's a type right here. If you drop down, it tells you what kind of test is it. Is it a smoke test, sanity test? Is it a regression test? Any idea what level of test this could be?
Be functional?
It is functional, but functional is a bigger umbrella. But
Okay.
either regression or smoke or sanity. What?
Probably smoke insanity.
It can actually go into both. You can do
Okay.
regression for this one. You can also say smoke and sanity testing. We'll just go ahead and say smoke and sanity testing because it's a very small test.
Okay.
You can add priority for your company, saying that, guys, this is pretty critical. Critical is the highest level of priority. Or you could say, if this fails, don't worry about it. You can still release. It's low priority. Understand?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So what do you think? Is this going to be a high priority of customers are able to log out?
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty high priority.
Yep, it is critical. If they're not able to log out, we can't
Okay.
release the application. You have this one called automation type. Sometimes it's automated, sometimes it's manual. You can change this as an admin to just say type. And in the drop down, you can customize to say manual or automated. Okay?
Okay.
Right now, I'm not going to go in there and do anything, but you can do that. Remember that the classic way of writing a test case in the Excel file where we had preconditions?
Mm-hmm.
Notice that by default, they have that here. And you can write the preconditions, meaning the username should be TechFiles demo, all right, at gmail.com and whatnot, password and stuff. All the steps are going to go in here. And what are you expected to see goes in here. Now, this is the classic way of writing test cases. where you need all this. But in Gherkin, are you going to need all this?
No.
Your Gherkin is going to have all of it in one simple,
in one place, right?
everything in one simple place. So you don't need this. And you can, as an admin, customize it to take it off. Currently, we don't have this. We also don't have this. But we have this called steps. And in here, I'm going to go in and copy paste the whole given all the way to finish of Tony's test case and paste it right here. Done.
So we would leave the first one out. We would only do the steps.
For now, for this particular case,
Yeah.
yes. And you as an admin, you can take this Windows off and it won't show you once you customize it. But for your homework, you're only going to use this where it says test steps and leave the preconditions and expected conditions blank.
And we're only using Gherkin.
Correct. Your expected conditions is when you say then user should be logged out of their account. That is the expected condition. Every then statement is your expected condition.
Perfect.
When you're done with this, click on Save Test Case. If you do that, it takes you back and shows you how it looks like. Notice the precondition, you didn't write anything, it didn't show up.
Yeah.
Expected conditions box, you didn't write anything, nothing showed up. It shows you in a clean format, meaning if you go back to that dashboard, open up your project and go to test cases, and it takes you back in the test cases. You can see the sections. Here's the scenario title. And if you click open, you see a very clean test case right here.
Perfect.
Okay, along with some important information here. Do understand that when you say smoke and sanity, when you say priority critical, when you say it's automated or not, you can actually select a set of test cases based on these variables. Based
So you
on,
can like,
yeah, like if you wanted all automated test cases, then when you're going to create a test run, if your test run is going to look through every single one and say, is it automated type? None. Then it's going to say, oh, I'm not going to take this one. But if it's automated, then it's going to take all the ones that are automated. So with this criteria, you are actually setting the stage for you to select a specific prescribed set of test cases. Does that make sense?
yes.
All right. Going back, if you click again on test cases, it will take you to the same that particular page where you have them. Real quickly, I'm just going to add a couple more. This one has this add new contact. So here's my add contact. And I'm going to say add case. I'm going to take Desmond's scenario, which says add new contact, paste it here, and click on this arrow. It saves it, but it has nothing in it. I have to click on it. Takes me to this screen where it had nothing on it. Edit. Leave it blank, leave it same, change this one. Who wants to tell me what kind of test case was that going to be? Adding a contact. 50-50 chance if you throw a stone at regression or smoke and sanity. Don't look at the other ones. Who said regression?
I
I
did.
think it's regression.
Yes, it is regression because it is pretty involved test case. It's a huge one, and you want to code it as regression. Priority, adding a contact, of course, critical or high. I would say critical. Automation, it has not been automated, so you can just say none. Precondition, nothing. Postcondition, nothing. Because all of that, it goes into the steps. So I'm going to copy from given all the way to end of his test case click on the box, Control V to paste it. There we have it. It also tells you where the spelling is wrong. You can correct it if you want to. I don't care. Save test case, and there you have your test case. Easy?
Yeah.
It's like just creating a Google Drive, guys. And that's all there is to it. So it looks like intimidating, but it's not. You are just folderizing and you are just creating and organizing your stuff. Do you remember what RTM was? Who can shout out?
RDM,
Mm-hmm.
Relational Database Management.
That is correct. You actually, that RTM stands for many other things. What you mentioned is I'm going to teach you going forward. But I taught you about
Okay.
there's another thing for QA analysts. It's called the Requirement Traceability Matrix. Does that ring a bell?
Yes.
Yeah.
Requirement Traceability Matrix is how are you going to trace the requirements? Meaning, you as a manager, how are you going to know whether you are covering all the requirements of the dashboard page? Look at this dashboard. There are so many things happening here. How are you going to know that your team wrote enough test cases to cover all these features? You need one place to see those test cases. Organized, of course, because you don't want to look for needle in a haystack. Look at this. Doesn't this give you enough? One page? If you need a dashboard and you know and you read that there is a log out of account and there's nothing there, as a manager, you're going to be like, obviously we need more test cases. You're going to assign some team to develop test cases for the top widgets, somebody in the mid widgets, somebody in the bottom widgets. With me on that?
Yeah.
This view is your requirement traceability matrix. This page is the RTM. In the past, they would use Excel when they didn't have this software, but now it's organized this way and works the same thing. So if the interviewer asks you, what is RTM? You describe what it is and describe how you use this test trail, this particular page, to glance through and realize whether you are covering all the features or not with your test cases. And obviously, this is very thin. It only has 2 test cases. Not good enough. You need to have over 100 test cases. Okay? And organized. Any questions so far?
No.
I am not going to add any more because you got the idea, unless you really need me to.
No, I think we're good.
Okay. But you understand that you need to do that from home, right?
Yes.
Because I've already done it like 100,000 times. And as you keep playing with this, you're going to get better and you need to put that experience under your belt. Moving on.
So it is the so we put all the cases in here, test cases on this side, right?
Right.
It's like a management.
Yes, this is called test management tool. It is also your test repository.
Okay.
Okay. Now you have all your test cases written and stored in this test repository. So what next? Who can tell me what next? Create a test run. A feature just came in. Where are you gonna? Which environment are you gonna test this or create this test run for?
On the QA environment.
Yes, thank you. QA environment. Why not dev environment? Come on.
Because that's what you're using right now is dev to make your case, right?
Developers are writing.
oh.
Yes, yeah. I mean, this is probably what you meant. Is the developers are writing code and pushing it to dev environment that is very volatile environment. You cannot do the whole test run in there. You might just want to see spot check and see what errors are there, and you reach out to the developers. Okay, but you want to do a full regression testing done in QA environment so that you can go ahead and release that to production. So your biggest playground for QA people are the QA environment. The biggest playground for the developers is the dev environment. Understand?
Got it.
All right. So how do I create a test run? Now the new features came in and you're like, we need to regress all this. Regress meaning we need to test all of it before we decide whether we can go ahead and release. You click on this button says run test. Okay? Or
Okay.
you don't want to do that, you go to this tab called test runs and results. Both do the same thing. Let me just go to test runs and results. If I click here, you get this page. First panel says add test run. You just click on that, okay? Click on it. This is how you're gonna do that. First thing it says, hey, I got a default name for you, test run with a date. Different companies may have different naming conventions, all right? I could name it, say, no, I don't like that test name. I'll say regression. In my company, we put underscore. We don't put any spaces. And we put a date when we want to deploy the code to production. If you are regressing today, if you're testing it today, you obviously, you may not be able to release it today. You may want to release it tomorrow. So I put tomorrow's date, but there's a funny way they want to put tomorrow's date. It's weird, but just deal with it. They put the year first, which is 2020 instead of the whole year, they just put 20. And immediately they put the month, which is 9. But instead of 9, they put 09, always 2 digits. So 2009 immediately tells me it's 2020, month of September. And then they put a dot and then the date, which is tomorrow's date is going to be 7. So they will put 07. Why? I don't know. Just forget it. Right? You come up with a better way. But I'm just showing you how complicated things can get sometimes and confusing. People just like to make it look complicated so they feel like they're special. Nobody else understands them or whatever. Okay. Here, you can do a lot of things. You can connect it to the Jira or you can put links in here, information. Milestone is something I'm not going to explain. You can watch the video if you want to, not needed. Description, you can say we're releasing tech files, I don't know, dashboard widget. Okay, not needed. If you want to, somebody wants to focus on what is getting released, dashboard deployment, then they can probably focus on that feature more. Doesn't care. I don't care. Include all test cases. What's that going to do? Come on, folks. Talk to me. It's going to include everything. Is it going to look for what's automated, what's not, what's regression, or what's sanity?
No.
No. But if I want just the specific ones, I would go with select specific test cases.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then it gives me this, and it tells me then you need to choose from here. Then you click on this link, it tells you this window and shows you what you got in this window. What you do is you go to this just the right side here. You don't even need to worry about these two windows. Here's your category. Let's say you just wanted smoke and sanity. So you go to test type. What was that? Not type, but see, I forgot. If you forget, what do? You go to test cases. You go back in here, log out of account, and there's the type. We chose one test case to be smoke and one was regression. So the type is what you have to select. Come back in here, test runs and results. Because I never saved it, it got deleted. So I'm gonna create one again. This time I'll leave the name same, test run with the date, change it to 7. Description, don't care. Select specific test cases, yes. Go in here and say, I just want the smoke test cases. So look for something says type. Click open, and they have the same options that you saw in the test case writing. What you do is pick smoke and sanity. You can actually press control and hold on to it and say, I want also regression. This will take both the types. You can tick multiple. And by the way, you can customize it, say, I don't need this, what says destructive. Instead, I want it to be called exploratory testing or whatnot, or UAT testing. You can totally customize this with this software. But I don't want to go there. That's admin work. So I'll just say, I just want smoke and sanity. You can choose one of these, match all the above, or match any of the above. The difference between is that if you say match all of the above and you chose smoke and sanity, computer is going to go in and try to see which test case has both of these options. Currently, 0. And if I say add to selection, if I click here, set selection and add to selection, it's gonna give me, it actually panicked and it gave me all of it. It's not supposed to give me any because no two test cases have the same. But if you say any of the above, that's when it should work. So it's kind of working funny right now. It's not really working well. But anyway, if you see this not working, just close out, come back up again, and say, this time I'm going to go to type, and I'm going to choose smoke and sanity. And now you just chose one of these options. It doesn't really matter what you choose out of these.
Yeah.
If you choose multiple, then this matters. But again, sometimes it's a hit or miss. It doesn't work. You have to validate this. Still, my team is dependent on me on selecting test cases. I've been training them, my teammates, but they still mess it up and they come to me and say, hey, can you please check if I got the right selection of test cases? Anyway, if I choose add to selection, okay, if it works properly, how many test cases should I get?
One.
1, correct. So if I do that, now if I scroll down, I got 1 test case. It was able to select it properly. But if it gave me 2 test cases, then something wrong. Maybe this feature is not working for that, right? But for now, I want to take all of it, okay? So if I go and click again and say regression, and then come back in here and say add to selection, it's going to bring me that regression too, but notice the number didn't change. So if that happens, close it out, come back up, go to type, and choose regression, choose smoke and sanity, and choose any, match any of the above. And if I say add to selection, how many test cases should I get now?
2.
2.
Correct, 2. Add to selection, scroll down, 2 test cases. Any questions so far?
Mm-mm.
Now we got our
No.
test cases, we're ready to go. You say okay, it's going to bring in those 2 test cases. Notice it's going to show you right here. With me?
Yes.
All right, you're done. you did this, you played around a little bit, you made sure that the software is working fine. Guess what? The human is still needed here, even though we're automating a lot of things. Computers cannot replace human beings. So add test run. Create that. It takes you right to this. Right?
Yes.
It's blank. The pie chart doesn't give me anything right now. It shows me those two test cases. Now you can assign these test cases to other people, right? And other people meaning I only have one person. Meaning I can click on this test case and say the dashboard test case, I want somebody else to do it. So I can go in here and say assign selected or assign all in the filter. Assign selected meaning the one I checked. And if I don't check it, I can say assign all, meaning all of these in this filter to somebody. Let me just click on this and see assign selected. What comes up here? It tells me, who do you want to assign to? I drop it down. It says me or John Doe. I don't know who John, oh, well, John Doe, yeah. Well, John Doe is me because that's the name I put in. But what if I wanted to add another name? Again, if you're not admin, you don't have to do this. But I'm going to quickly just show you how to assign it to another person. On the top right corner, if you are an admin, you will see this tab. If you're not an admin, you will never see this tab.
Okay.
I just got this admin right recently, maybe about 6 months ago. Okay. Kind of like a little promotion. And if I go in here, this is my admin panel. Want to take a guess which panel I'm going to click on? Kind of like self-explanatory.
No.
Which one?
User and rules.
Users and roles. So in this panel already says add a user. So I can just click there. Here it says full name. So I'm going to say Tony D. Rosario. And Tony, quickly give me your email. It's going to send you an email actually.
Yeah, ADD
Uh-huh.
OZ
Uh-huh.
ROZARIO.
Is that good? At Gmail?
At Yahoo. Does it matter? Do you want my Gmail or my Yahoo?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yahoo.com. You're actually going to get an email saying that, hey, your boss assigned you something.
The after ADD, you put an extra Z. That Z doesn't need to be there. Yeah, there you go. ADD Rosario.
Okay. And
All right.
enable email notifications, meaning you're going to get an email saying that I've created your account. Every time I do something, it's going to send you an email if it involves you.
Okay.
There are a lot of things I could do here, but you don't need to. Leave the default unless you have a good reason to. Click on add user. And you have added Tony D. Rosario. In this panel, you can change what this user is capable of doing. Right now, it's selected as a lead. If you say lead, then he's going to be able to see this administration and have all the controls. But I don't want him to have all the controls, suppose. Tony, no offense, okay? Don't.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not personal. I'm just trying to teach something, that's all. But you will be admin if you work for me. So I'm going to put tester. If I say tester, Tony is not going to be able to see the administration tab. And he will only be able to test it. Okay?
Mhm.
I am John Doe. I am the lead here. And I can keep on adding all of you guys. And all of you guys will have the access actually to this. Because in a minute, when I'm going to assign the test case, Tony is going to get an email with a link. He just have to click on the link. It's going to take him to the test cases and he can perform it. Let me show you how. So now I go back to the dashboard. I'm going to have to navigate it back to this project, test files. And this time I'm going to have to go to test runs and results. I have already created one. Look at this. right here. But I have not assigned it to anybody yet. So I click on edit and go in here. Oh no, sorry, not that one. Cancel. I click on the test run itself. The edit is to edit the test, how many test cases are there and stuff like that. But if you click on the test run, you open up the test run. Right? And in here, I want to take this first test case and assign it to Tony. I just added. Now if I say assign selected, and in this drop down, guess what? Tony's name is showing up. I can say assign it to him. If I want to write a comment, I can do that. Not needed. Last, I click on assign to. Okay. Immediately, Tony gets an email saying, hey, you got assigned some work to do, man. All right. Now, the other test case, this one, I think I should do that, or somebody else should do that. So I go to assign selected, and I give it to myself. John Doe. Assigned to me. All of these got assigned. All these tables, these columns, you can adjust. Notice assigned to got displayed. What if I want to display more information on this? I can go to columns and say add column and go put the automation type in there too. Okay, add column. And I don't want this add column to be on the last column, but I want to bring it up. You can click there. Okay, I'm going really fast because you guys don't need to use this really. And if I say update columns, there is that automation type right there showing up. Can I sort it? Sure. You can sort it like that. 2 test cases right here. Okay. All right. Any questions so far?
No.
Now, guess what? Every time a QA analyst comes in and they get assigned something to do, that goes into this to do tab. That means I just logged in as John Doe, and I can go into this to do and see if somebody gave me some test cases to work on. If I click on, here it is. If this is blank, that means I got no work. But if something comes up, that means I got work to do. If I click open, how many test cases is it going to show me?
1.
1, because that was only one that was assigned to me. It's not the whole test run. It's only what's going to be assigned to me. And that's that 1 test case. When Tony is going to go log into his account and he's going to go to do, he's also going to see this. And he's also going to see 1 test case. But if Tony wanted to go and see how many test cases really are there, which tab is he going to have to click on?
Test cases? Oh,
Not test cases. This is where your actual test cases stay.
Test runs and results.
Test runs and results.
Correct. Test runs and results. So in here, you're going to see this was the last test run created. And if you click open that, you're going to be able to see all the test cases there and who was assigned. This one, Tony, and this one, John Doe. Okay? This is the holistic report. But, hey, let me do my job. I go to do. I saw this link. I'm like, man, oh man, and now I have to do this. Bummer. Okay, let me get my job done. I go click open. What did they give me? Add new contact. Okay. Right now I am executing the test case. If I know how to add a new contact, I will do it right away. I don't need to click open and read this. Understand?
Yeah.
If I don't know how to do this is my first time, I'm going to click open. And it gives me the baby steps to follow one after another. And I can do all that step until I get to the end and decide whether it's a pass or fail. I can say add results right here. I can click right here and say add result. It does the same thing. I can say, I'm sorry, I don't know how to do this. Let me assign it back to Tony. with me?
Yep.
Let me. I'm chickening out. I can say start progress, meaning I took it, and people are gonna see that it's, even if they want to take my test case on, they won't be able to. I took it away. And it's also recording how long, how many minutes until I really put add results. Do we use this feature? Not really. Okay, we don't really use this. But then what do we do? So let's say I read this and I'm like, I gotta go to add new accounts. So I go to add new accounts. Add contact. It tells me the steps. I follow the steps. I log in. CRM, add contacts. I do exactly what the test case tells me. All right. I hit the submit and I look for what am I supposed to see? The then statements. If everything looks good, I'm gonna say add result, either clicking here or clicking here. And by default, first thing comes up is passed. Or I could choose fail or blocked or retest. And you can add more things in here, customize it as an admin. Okay? So suppose I go ahead and put passed. I can even drag and drop an image saying passed. Or if it failed, I can put an image why it failed. I can tell why it failed. With me?
Yes.
Add result. Click on it. It got added. Passed. Put a timestamp on that right there. Comment displays right here. Okay? There's more tabs here to check history and stuff if you need to explore that. Not needed. If you want to go back, you can click on this. This is called breadcrumb, guys. Kind of like the top of the bread. There are like these crumbs. It will take you back one step. What happened?
Pass.
It passed. Look at the chart, the pie chart. 50%. There was 2 test cases. Half is passed already. Here's the other one. It was assigned to Tony. And for what reason, Tony is unable to do this, or he's kind of behind. Then what I can do is I can also do it myself. I'm like, hey, I don't need to click open this one. I already know how to log out of that account. So let me just go in here and go to dashboard real quickly and go ahead and log out. Am I able to log out? Yep, got it, done. Then go in here. I don't need to click open this. I can just assign this one right now by clicking here saying, if I click here, pass or fail. Okay. Suppose I say fail. It gives me this window. I say not able to log out. Okay. Button does not work. Or button missing, not even displayed. I can take a screenshot. How? Where is it? Right here. So suppose I signed in, I go in here, and suppose this logout button isn't there. There's something called snipping tool. Every computer has it. You are not going to be able to see it right now. Or maybe you are. But you will see it in a minute. I took this snipping tool. Can you see it?
No.
Okay. But what I'm doing is I'm using the snipping tool. Watch a video on the snipping tool. And I am creating an image of this. And I'm going to copy paste it. Then you will be able to see it. Okay. So 1 second. I already copy pasted. I am going to click on this paste section and Control V to paste it. Come on. Okay, maybe in the chat box, Control V. Yep. So in the comment box, I went in. Are you able to see this one?
Yes, we can see.
All right. If I say add image and add results, there, half of that failed. If I wanted to see more information on the failure, I can click open the test case. And once I do that, I'm right here. Look at the image right there. And I can click on this image. It will enlarge it. I also had put an arrow right there to show, suppose that button wasn't working, it came out blank, then somebody can see it and say, oh, okay, I know what he's talking about now. With me so far?
Yeah.
Questions? Any question?
No.
No.
Then what next? We're done with testing. We got everything covered. It was only 2 test cases, but you guys are going to have to put a lot more. And one fail, log out of account. Is that important? Is that high priority test case? That fail?
Yes, it was.
So will this report result to a deployment or block deployment?
Oh, block deployment.
Correct. Now you have to find out what went wrong. We cannot release the application, even though the application, the developer is going to say, we didn't touch that feature. Well, I don't know if you touch that feature or not, if your code doesn't interact with that logout button or not. But why is it failing now, but it didn't fail before?
Yeah.
So we are not going to release. And if somebody pushes you on this, you're going to reach out to your manager and tell them that, look, this is what's happening. The developer is asking us to push the code out to production, but we got this massive failure right here. If we push it out, what if we break the logout feature in production with this code? There's a bug in this code. This code needs to be fixed. Any questions about test execution and test report?
No.
Well, that's it, folks. I don't have anything else. And that really concludes what you need to know. Everything actually from start to finish to become a manual tester or your position as a QA analyst. Going back, actually, these classes, I never really taught these classes. Initially, I started out with HTML with my one trial batch before. But with the training center, I was just teaching Java and Selenium, which was like the most technical part of it. Every other things in here, these are just the bare bone concepts. And you don't need to have any technical skills or knowledge or no coding required sort of things. Another instructor would usually do that. And as they keep learning, the students would come to me at the final stage, and I would actually put everything together and then show them how to automate. But with this setup, you're learning everything from me. So I thought that I could get you done with last week, but it felt like there is more to it. And I just needed to give you a little more scoop. And that's why. But that concludes it. I think ideally this class, Shobuz, you missed this. Desmond, you missed it. Computer fundamentals, this can be completely watched on your own. You don't really need to go over because they're all full of videos.
Right.
So technically, my next batch, I'm just going to tell them to do this at home. And all I have to do is, you guys, I'm just doing Sundays. The next batch I'm going to start after you all are done. it's gonna be Saturday and Sunday. So these 4 classes essentially will get people ready to work as a QA analyst in just 2 weekends. Yeah, so, but that concludes it. I don't have anything else more to teach you about a QA analyst. The rest is up to you to practice. By the way, the video, the presentation is already in here where it says test execution and management. You can go in here, click on this slide and jump to all the way last one that says homework and read this homework. Let me go over this with you. So what is this homework about? It's actually same thing that I showed you. You install the TestRail, follow the same steps I did. If you get logged out, guys, you go to your email and you will see that you received an email. And in your email, they gave you a unique password. For some reason, this is the only thing that works. If you update the password, it doesn't work. And if you lose it, just open up another one with another name. The web address name, you can put whatever, but just make it unique. And email, you can repeatedly use the same email. TestRail doesn't care. It gives you access again, creates another session for you again. And like I told you, the first email that it sends you actually gives you online training course platform. So this link right here where it says our free online training course, if you click open that, it takes you here, and these modules have videos. And you can use these videos to even become an expert in no time. Very small videos and very easy, and you can work as a QA analyst manager for big companies. And you can manage teams with their test cases and report analysis, things like that. You can become the admin and just do the admin stuff while you assign test cases to people. They do the labor work for you. All right. What else? Going back to that homework. You create a project. I don't care what name you give it. You add sections and test cases for TechFile site. How do I log in? Username this, password that. What are you going to do? You're going to create test cases and write it and assign it just like I showed you. If you want to add a couple of users the way I showed you, that'll be great. If not, I wouldn't mind if you just assign it to one person, which is yourself. That will be acceptable as well. Then you're going to execute the test case, meaning you're going to go in there and put reports. You're going to say, oh, this one passed. Oh, this one failed. Just do that. Just get used to it. And then next weekend, you're going to demo that to the class of what you have done. Okay. Now, what if my video and my instruction is not good enough? And sometimes it's not good enough. And in that case, you have an additional video here. This is 13 minutes. If you click open, here's another person who will show you a few other things.
Personally, I use.
Okay, it goes through the same thing of how to create an account,
After
how to create a project, how to add test cases, what are those fields are, all the way to
I can start assigning
how do I
previous videos.
add the test cases
Try to create multiple
and analyze
charts
report.
and
So
screenshots.
all of it is there at your disposal if you need to see it. Any question about the homework?
No.
No.
Got it.
All right. Awesome. When you come back next week, so what are you this is going to be a big jump now, okay? Our next class is going to start you off with test automation engineering. And this is where you're going to learn the technical high-tech stuff. The first thing we're going to start with is I'll show you how to design your own website. And there's this video there you're welcome to watch already. I think I did a class with this with my trial group before. No worries if you don't want to do this because I will walk you through the whole thing. There are some notes in there. You will see something for XML and JSON. This is going to be how do we transport data from front end. When you click a button or you put like you want to make a reservation for airlines, that data goes to the server. How does that data goes from you to the Priceline or American Airlines server and retrieve that data comes back to you? That's going to be this class essentially. And then there's another class which is going to teach you some basic commands to do some really cool stuff, and you get your hands dirty with that first. Once you got those three things under your belt, then we go into something called SQL, which is like database management. And in here, this is going to be multiple classes. This might take several weekends, and I will show you the SQL query language. I'll teach you. I will download a sample database on your computer, and you are going to be actually literally working on it. I'll have assignments for you on that as well. Next is going to be a big chunk. Probably the most important thing of automation engineering is you learning Java. These are still under construction. I will have them ready as you are ready for that weekend. This is going to have probably the most amount of classes in it. This is where you can become somebody. So I'm going to make sure that I walk you through every step and teach you in a very layman terms, so it becomes very easy for you. There will be some installations which I will instruct you. Everything is free online, and you should be able to do this with no problem. Once you got Java in your belt, and the next thing is I'm going to show you how to integrate Selenium and the Java experience you have. This is when you're going to start doing Selenium classes, and you will actually see those websites getting like a ghostly characteristics. It will open up automatically. It's going to be like a ghost finger going in and typing things. That's when this is going to start. Once you're done with that, API testing is becoming pretty hip these days. This is something that I learned from my work, not from the training center. And many people honed me on this on the interview, and I had no answer. I jumbled up a lot of things, but man, I'm going to give you the hands-on scoop on this. It's pretty easy, maybe 1 or 2 days. And you are going to be an awesome candidate when you go out there in the market. Most folks don't even know this. They're all fake out there. Okay, and with the H-1B visa not allowing, so you're going to be a hot shot once you're ready for this. After this, you're done. We're going to work on your resume and get you off to the market. And I will support you as you get interviews. I'll tell you where you need to post your interview questions, and I can answer those questions freely. By the way, good job on signing up on Slack. Keep an update on this. Set your notifications on the Slack so that somebody writes something that it notifies you on your phone and you're active on it, because that's what I use for my company. That's what most folks use. And sometimes I am not in front of my computer at home, and I'm just drinking coffee in my sunroom, and I just have my Slack open. Nobody knows that I'm not working. If my boss reaches out to me, I immediately respond with my phone while drinking coffee, and they think that I'm working. And most folks are doing that. Okay? Sometimes you're working hard, other times you chill. You can go do your errands, but you keep your Slack open. in case somebody asks you something, you may respond. If you don't respond, that shows that maybe you are offline, and that could hint that you are not on top of things. Okay. You are seeing the Slack channel exactly the way it appears in our company. Instead of one channel, there's probably 15 channels. DevOps engineers have a channel. QAs have a channel. Other developers have a channel. Each teams have a channel. Management team have a channel. Question about Slack?
Mm-mm.
All right. There's one concept I missed, which is called CI/CD, and I'm not going to explain it this time. Mainly because I have another class later on when you Java, Selenium to go over that. So forget that. I do want to check something on the student side. So before I let you go, let me show you what's coming next. And let me add this to somebody first, okay? So here's Google. You're gonna have to submit assignments. And notice how I'm accessing this. I go to Google, and I have a list of applications that will show up on the top right corner. If I click open that, there's a lot of stuff. You can organize this the way you want to. I think most important thing to me is the Google Drive, so I can drag and drop and bring it up here. Second most is Classroom. It was down here. I brought it up here. Now if I click on Google Classroom, it will take me there. You all have it. By the way, but you don't have anything here. Yours is going to be blank. Mine shows up right now, and I have a classroom created. And I'm going to assign all of you a classroom like this, and it's going to show up. Hold on one second. My son wants to pee. All right, sorry about that. What I'll do is, Shobus, quickly tell me your email.
It's MASH. Yeah, that one. The first one.
All right, as I'm doing this, go into your Google and go to open up the classroom, see what happened. Tony,
Okay.
your Gmail was? Desmond, your Gmail was?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
My mic was my bad.
QR.
Give me your Gmail account, guys.
QR soft test.
Okay. Tony Haley?
Okay. Yeah, sorry. We can talk now. I made a new one. It was Anthony.D.
No, it doesn't.
.D.
Mm-hmm.
.DRosario@gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Yeah, but take that S off at DRosario.
No.
Yeah, I think it picked up the right one.
Okay, got it, cool.
Because it does give me that.
Sounds good.
Mine's Haley H.
Haley. Loretta, I already assigned you, so you're fine.
Oh, okay.
And Haley, you're gonna be invited right now.
Yes.
And there you go. I need a volunteer to demo me on your site to see what you see.
Okay, I still didn't get anything, so I'm on the Google class, but I don't see the invite. Let me check the Gmail. Do I need to activate?
Did you?
Oh, yeah, I got the invitation on the email, so let me join. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it will show automatically on the Google Classroom.
Yes, I think it's gonna ask you to join.
Yeah, I joined.
All right. Can I demo you?
Yeah, you can. I can share.
Here we go. Except when you're ready.
Okay. Yeah, I am ready.
All right. I see
So
it.
this is. So I saw I got the email. Then I click on the join.
Mhm.
Then it takes me this site. So this is I see upcoming homework. This is. I have not assigned anything, so I think that's why it's showing blank. And this is the homework.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you
Go
see this?
to this.
Yeah, that's the homework from the last week, right?
Oh, okay.
Write a Gherkin test case.
Okay, it is the last one. Okay.
Yeah. How would you submit something?
Okay, so I need to submit my. Okay, let me put a word over here.
And you can, that's one way to do it. If you do that, everybody in your class will also see it when you write a comment.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Or your work, yes?
it will work. Yeah. I mean, it's fine. But also what you can do is see where it says add or create on the top right corner.
Yeah.
You click there, it's
This one?
going to give you those options. Do you want a document? Do you want a slideshow? Do you want a Microsoft Excel type of thing, which is sheets? Or do
Oh, okay.
you want to draw something? Right? Let's say you want to do document. You can also link, put a video, whatnot. Just go ahead and click on documents.
Okay.
It takes you to a Google Doc. Actually, now this is gonna save that Google Doc in your Google Drive. Now you can
Right.
say Control V in here. All of that is going to be pasted and saved in the cloud for you.
Okay.
Go ahead and press Control V. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you have it saved. And on the
Share.
top where it says Turn In.
Oh, turn in. Okay.
Yeah. Click on Turn In. And wait for it.
I got slow internet, maybe.
I don't know.
Got it. Got it.
All right. Click got it. And
Turn
Turn In. I ended up submitting 2. I don't know why. And you're done.
Okay.
And I can grade it. Yeah, I probably did maybe click twice or something and ended up submitting 2 times. But
maybe this is this one automatically created docs.
The comment, you don't have to comment your assignment into the comment. But if you feel like that your classmates would benefit from seeing your work, go ahead and paste it, because when you commented, Tony on your side or Desmond, you'll be able to see what Shobuz wrote, and maybe you.
So I want me to delete this.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Or I mean, yeah, if you want to delete the extra one, that's fine. Don't delete the comment.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions, guys?
No.
Don't click unsubmit. It's gonna take it off.
Oh, I was showing 2 of this, so that's what I'm thinking.
Delete 1.
Oh, okay.
And now click Turn In.
Oh.
All right. One of the other thing that you need to do on your homework, obviously, the homework that I assigned you today, you won't be able to actually create anything here. What you can do is you can give me a link to the test trail that you're going to work on as an assignment. You're also going to see the assignment show up in here. It's going to have a date feature. It's going to tell you what the assignment is. It's going to be under this topic. Shobuz, go back to the classwork. Go to classwork.
This
No, the classwork tab.
classwork. Class.
See that top at the very top?
Sorry.
So what you're going to do is you're going to go to classwork tab, and you're going to see test planning and development. That was the class you did, and that was the homework underneath that. Today's class topic is test execution and management. So you will see another topic like that underneath this, and then you will see a homework link. So that's where you will see instruction coming, where you have to paste the link. But was I able to explain what is expected of you from this Google Classroom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to get more and more sophisticated. You are going to be involved with this more and more and get better at it. Okay? And we're going to collaborate our homeworks in here. I may or may not give you grades or even look at it or not. Sometimes I will, other times I may not. But regardless, you guys are grown up and you need to do this for your own sake. It's going to help you in learning. Okay? Hey guys, any last questions before we close out the session?
I have one question. Earlier you said that we need to be we need to learn or we need to know about the HP Quality Center or the ALM, Application Lifecycle Management things. So is that same things that the test trail do?
Exactly same thing, just UI looks different. The
Okay.
buttons look different. The process may be a bit different, but at the end of the day, all it does is it stores your test cases, acts like a repository. You are able to create a test run. Instead of test run, they call it test lab. Is that a big deal?
Okay. No,
No.
I understand.
Yeah, you know, different people, different software, different names. But
Right.
I mean, what's the heart of this thing is you're creating a test run, you're going to execute the test cases, and you're going to report, and you're going to make a decision whether you should deploy those test cases or not. That's it. How? Now, if you want to go farther, there are YouTube videos and you can learn that as well. Is it needed for your interview? No. Is it needed for you to work better in your company? Well, more you learn better, but not necessarily is a must. Okay? Because if you know test trail and how to manage that, you, my friend, I tell you, anybody can show you another software in a day and you are going to be okay with it.
Okay. No, I understand.
Any other questions?
But I mean, the conceptually, they both are same.
Correct.
I went to my Google and I don't see that I got any emails or invited to a classroom or anything. So,
okay, let me.
I see only 2 classmates, so I think it's not added yet.
yeah.
I see only Haley and software.
That's
I
fine.
think you need to active. You need to when you get the email, you need to join.
Yeah, but I didn't get an email.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't get the email.
Let me take over and double check again.
Got it.
Where am I? Present. And maybe I got the email wrong. Can you give me your other email? The previous one?
The other one?
Mm-hmm.
DRO5 5236. Yeah, that one.
Got it. Anybody else have the same issue?
No.
Okay. So now you check your email. Now what you have to do is in your Google, you have to go in and log out of your existing and need to log into this account.
Got it.
And then check your mail.
Okay.
Desmond, do you see a class?
Yeah.
Good. Hey, Haley?
Yeah, I do. I see it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so you can figure this out, right? Join and then navigate and explore, do exploratory testing, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. If no more questions, have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and I'll see you next weekend. If any questions, you can post your questions in Slack, or
Got it.
any emergency, you can text me too.
Okay.
Okay, the next Sunday, same time, 8 a.m.
Next Sunday, we're gonna do at 9 o'clock.
Oh,
Are we gonna go to Saturday, Sunday schedule soon in the future or no?
Yes, as soon as we hit Selenium,
Uh-huh.
it's gonna be Saturday, Sunday.
Got it. Sounds good.
Right.
Okay. All right.
All right, awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Bye. You too. Bye.